Hi, everybody. John Seiler here with Behind the News, and we have something interesting today. Here's Ali, my helper, and we're going to talk about Proposition 50 in California. It, even if you're not in California, this is important because it's going to reduce the congressional delegation from California from 9 to 5 for Republicans, 52 total. And I'm going to talk about the some of these flyers I got in the mail here. These are always show how things are going in the campaign, and I always collect these and usually write something about them. And the first one is from uh, it's a opposition to Prop 50 by uh, Charles Munger's group. Charles Munger is a wealthy man who sponsored Proposition 20 back in 2010, and that's the one that gave us the California Citizens Redistricting Commission instead of the legislature just doing it. They had a guy named Berman that they used to just pay him. If you were a member of Congress, you would just pay him a certain amount, and he would give you a nice district. Loretta Sanchez, you might remember her. She was very interesting uh, House member from Orange County. She used to meet with us at the Orange County Register back when we had a building in those days, and she would always flirt with the male editorial writers, which I found amusing. But anyway, she said you just pay this guy 20,000 or whatever, and he would give you a nice district. So that was the big abuse that was rejected by voters in 2010, and sponsored by Charles Munger. And he's defending his own proposition this time with let's see, he spent $32 million so far out of 44 million opposition. But the ones for it, the Newsom group is spending 120 million so far. That's according to Ballotpedia today. But here's the one Munger sent out. It's not bad. Proposition 50, nothing gained, much is lost, and they have Schwarzenegger because Schwarzenegger really pushed this into law back in 2010. It's one of the good things he did. Overall, not a great governor, but that was good, and it quotes him: "Democracy, we've got to fight for it." But no, on Prop 50 and some other stuff here that they could have left out. What Texas is doing is wrong, but California doing the same thing in reverse isn't the answer. Well, most people don't know what's going on in Texas. They just read the main part there. It's all he should have kept. Because most people, they glance at these at the mailboxes, and then they just throw it out. And I came up with a better one here. There we go. How's that? Terminate Prop 50. That's it. People see this, and then they get the message. And instead of Schwarzenegger in a suit like he's governor, or he's the Terminator, he's going to take care of things. He's made like 6 of these Terminator movies. Now in the back, same thing. Terminate Prop 50. Simple, effective. He's made 6 of these Terminator movies. We all know it, and I think the last one was the Terminator versus Rambo versus Predator versus Alien, something like this. It was like a cage match beyond Thunderdome with all these Terminators, and which is appropriate for today, Halloween, October 30th. But let's look to some other ones. This is a really horrible one right here from the Republican Party, my own Republican Party. It only goes to Republicans. Look at this. Your neighbors are watching. Have you voted to stop Prop 50 yet? Your neighbors are watching. Don't let your neighbors down. They'll find out because if you vote or you don't vote, it's at the registrar of voters. They don't have how you voted or whom you voted for, but they do have if you voted. And so many people don't vote in just a one-shot election like this. No people on the ballot, no presidential election. But this is like the KGB. They're watching over you, or the Stasi in East Germany. They're, I don't know how the Republicans could come up with this. Is the worst I've ever seen. I've been watching politics since 1960 when my father ran for judge in Michigan, municipal judge, and he won. A judge there for 25 years, and then in the presidential race I started remembering most was in 2008 when I was 13, Nixon versus Humphrey versus Wallace. And I remember that one well. I've been obsessed with politics since then, and I've never seen anything this bad. Attacking your own voters. What they should have done was here we go. This is from the Washington Examiner today. Uh, the FBI must answer for its Arctic Frost spying operation. Arctic Frost was under Biden and his KGB Attorney General Merrick Garland. They spied on eight U.S. senators we know now, and numerous Republican organizations. It says right here, let's get it. They spied on Stephen Miller, Jared Kushner, and Lara Trump, and as well as the Republican National Committee, the Republican Attorneys General Association. That's the attorney generals in the states. About half of them, around 25, are Republicans, as as well as activists like Ed Corrigan and groups such as Charlie Kirk's Turning Point USA. Good old Charlie Kirk, may he rest in peace. But they were spying on him, Biden and this horrible Garland, and they're looking into it. It's just horrible. Anyway, what they could have done in California, this was known weeks ago. Not this. We're getting a lot of the details now, but they could have said, this is what Newsom wants. Gavin Newsom wants to be uh, invading your privacy and repressing our system with a KGB like system, like they had in the Soviet Union. And this is the guy who wants Prop 50. You could use that, say, vote no on Prop 50, so he can stop spying on us, Newsom, because this is all about Newsom, really. And I have another story here for you today. This is behind the news. That's why I call it that. And it is, oops, that one already. This one is from New York Times today. Newsom turns a California election into a national platform, which I wrote about 2 months ago when this thing started on my Substack. John Seiler.substack.com. So make sure you go there and subscribe and read all my stuff. I usually have a couple a week, plus these YouTubes I'm doing now. It says Governor Gavin Newsom has attracted support for his redistricting ballot measure from voters outside of California. You can reap the benefits for a 2028 presidential run, which I wrote 2 months ago and have since. That's what it's really about. It's not. He doesn't care about California. Let's face it. He wants to be president. Then he can bring Merrick Garland back and spy on everybody. Are you hearing that, Republicans? That's what you should have done. You should have brought that up. Now it's too late. News story here says in Iowa, a retired math teacher clicked a link in a text message and donated $35. A school secretary in Las Vegas pitched in $50. An interior designer in Pennsylvania, an insurance agent in Chicago, and a ski instructor in New Hampshire each gave $100. And you notice, except for Chicago, these are all battleground areas, states or areas. Iowa, early caucuses. Las Vegas, that's a big one for Democrats, and in the general election, of course. And New Hampshire, early primary. So he's getting all this money and all these people, and because he'll be sending all these things out. Vote for me. I beat the Republicans with Prop 50, and so on and so on and so on. And why can't Republicans use this against him? Would have been better than this thing. So let me mention these numbers again: $120 million for Newsom's group. Something like Gavin Newsom, Prop 50, saving democracy from the Republicans, so we can put Merrick Garland back in and spy on everybody. That's it's a long title for the committee. Democrats like long titles. For the anti-group, 44 million, so about a third, and 32 from Charles Munger. Thank you. But Republicans need to do better on this. I don't know. And the problem is, as I wrote a Substack a day or two ago. Remember, go to johnseiler.substack.com. It was about how the Republican Party is so small in California now. It's going to get even smaller if Prop 50 wins. If you're an aspiring young Republican and you want to get into the politics, the legislature is almost pointless. Only 1/4 of the seats are Republican, and they suppressed you. I was press secretary to John Morlock when he was a state senator, and they had just above 2/3 when I first got there. So they listened to him on stuff. He's a good budget guy, an accountant, really knows his stuff. Had a lot of great reports. But then when it went below 2/3, they just didn't listen to him. It could have been a picture on the wall for all they cared. So for Republicans, it's pretty dismaying, and they'll never get a statewide position. Steve Hilton's running for governor. Good guy, interviewed him, but chances are pretty low on that. All they have is these 9 seats to aspire to, but now it's going to be 5 or 4, who knows. So this is if you haven't voted yet and you're in California, make sure you do vote against it. I already voted. And this is it for now. And Republicans, my fellow Republicans, we need to do better than this. We need to do better. Okay, thanks everybody. Oh, and Ollie, come here. There we go. Ollie wants to say goodbye too. And remember to like and subscribe for this on YouTube. And check out the Ollie Treats. This is the one they're actually named after Ollie. That's why he likes them. Ollie Treats. I have an affiliate link in there. So you can just click to it and get it from Amazon. Your dog will love them. Right, Ollie? Okay, everybody, bye. Say goodbye, Ollie. Say goodbye.